Hello and welcome to the football world. You're watching the Football Current, powered by pure football energy. Talent is not enough. In football, talent might open the door, but it does not decide how long you stay in the room, how much weight you carry once you're inside, or how loudly history remembers your name when the lights finally go out. Talent can make you visible. Responsibility is what makes you unforgettable. And there are few modern footballers who embody that uncomfortable truth more than Bruno Fernandes. From the outside, his story looks simple. A gifted midfielder, numbers that jump off the page. Goals, assists, chances created, penalties converted under pressure. But football stories are rarely about numbers alone. They are about context, about chaos, about expectation, about how a player responds when a club is fractured, when systems change, when managers come and go, and when the badge on the shirt weighs heavier than the legs beneath it. This is not the story of a perfect footballer. This is the story of a necessary one. Because in an era where Manchester United lost its identity, its certainty, and at times its soul, Bruno Fernandes became something far more dangerous than just a talented player. He became the solution to problems that should never have been his alone to solve. And for that, he would be praised, doubted, criticized, mocked, defended, and misunderstood all at the same time. To understand Bruno Fernandes, you have to understand what it means to play in the middle of a storm and still demand the ball. Long before the arguments, long before the armbands, long before the accusations of whining, complaining, or being too emotional. Before Old Trafford, there was Sporting CP. And before the Premier League spotlight magnified every flaw and every gesture, there was a midfielder quietly redefining what production from midfield could look like in Portugal. At Sporting, Bruno Fernandes was not just good, he was outrageous. He was prolific in a way midfielders are rarely allowed to be. 16 goals and 20 assists in his first full season across all competitions was not a statistical anomaly. It was a statement, a declaration that this was not a player content with controlling tempo alone. He wanted to decide matches. And then he went even further. 32 goals, 18 assists, records that had stood since the early 1980s fell to a midfielder playing with urgency, ambition, and almost reckless belief. In March 2019, he surpassed Antonio Oliveira's long-standing club record for goals by a midfielder. In May, a hat-trick in an 8-1 demolition turned him into the highest-scoring Portuguese midfielder in a single season in history. He was named Player of the Year, twice, and yet, outside Portugal, the noise remained muted. That is the first pattern in the Bruno Fernandes story. Excellence that feels loud when you watch it, but somehow quiet when it comes to appreciation. When Manchester United came calling in January 2020, the transfer felt heavy with doubt. Not because of his quality, but because of the club he was joining. United were drifting. Creativity was scarce. Confidence was brittle. Big signings had failed before. Expensive solutions had become expensive problems. He arrived mid-season, into a league known for devouring newcomers, and within weeks, the doubts evaporated. 8 goals, 7 assists, 14 Premier League games. Not adaptation, impact. You could see it immediately. The way he demanded the ball between the lines. The way he took penalties with a calm that bordered on arrogance. The way he attempted passes others wouldn't even consider. This was not a player easing himself into the Premier League. This was a player forcing the league to adjust to him. Against Watford, you saw the full range. A penalty dispatched with ice-cold certainty. A perfectly weighted assist for Mason Greenwood. Control. Decision-making. End product. February's Player of the Month followed. But more importantly, something deeper began to shift. United had an axis again. Everything started to run through one man. In the Europa League, he carried that same authority. Goals, assists, match-winning moments. A decisive strike against Copenhagen. By the end of the competition, he stood as the tournament's top scorer. A midfielder. In Europe, people forget how fast this happened. How suddenly Bruno Fernandes became the center of gravity at Manchester United. By June, he was rewriting Premier League history. Player of the Month. Goal of the Month. Both at once. The first player ever to do it. Then again. Back-to-back awards not seen at the club since Cristiano Ronaldo in 2006-07. In September, the SIR Matt Busby Player of the Year award followed, despite having only arrived in January. United fans weren't exaggerating when they felt rescued. They had been starving for this presence. Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, the club had drifted from identity to identity, never quite finding a figure who could impose himself consistently. Paul Pogba had moments, flashes of brilliance, but never sustained control. Bruno Fernandes was different. With a full preseason and a team built around his energy, the numbers exploded again. 18 goals, 12 assists, 37 league appearances. United finished second in the Premier League, largely because everything went through him. In the Europa League semi-final against Roma, he delivered one of the defining performances of his career. 2 goals, 2 assists, a 6-2 demolition that felt like a personal exhibition of creative dominance. And yet, even at this peak, the criticism never fully disappeared. Because this is where Bruno Fernandes becomes complicated. He is not elegant in the way some football purists demand. He is not always controlled. He complains. He gestures. He shows frustration openly. His face often looks permanently dissatisfied. And in football culture, especially in England, emotion can be mistaken for weakness. As United's results began to fluctuate again, narratives hardened. He was labeled a stat padder, player who chased numbers, someone who cried more than he created. His leadership was questioned. His suitability as captain debated relentlessly. At one point, pundits openly argued that the captaincy should be stripped from him, that his behavior towards referees embarrassed the club, that his emotional volatility made him unfit to lead. And yet, season after season, when you stripped the noise away, the same truth remained. He was still creating the most chances, still scoring decisive goals, still running further than almost anyone else on the pitch. At one stage, Bruno Fernandes had played more minutes than any footballer in world football. Availability became one of his most underrated traits. While others rotated, rested, or disappeared through injury, he kept turning up. He kept pressing. He kept demanding responsibility. Tactically, he was often misused. Under different managers, his role shifted constantly, from a pure number 10 to a box-to-box midfielder. At times, even deployed deeper, asked to help in build-up rather than live near the penalty area where he was most dangerous. Under Ruben Amorim, there were stretches where he operated in a double pivot within a back three system, a role that dulled his natural instincts. And yet, even there, the numbers came. Goals, assists, chances created from positions that should have limited him. That adaptability is rarely celebrated, because it doesn't look pretty. It looks like sacrifice. One of the most misunderstood criticisms aimed at Bruno Fernandes is that he plays too much risk football, that he forces passes, that he plays kick and inshallah at times. There is truth in that. He always wants to accelerate. He always wants to create. The greatest midfield controllers know when to slow the game. Bruno Fernandes often chooses urgency, but context matters. For years, he was the only consistent creative outlet in a deeply unbalanced squad. When you are the sole source of imagination, safety becomes the enemy. Conservative passes do not win matches when no one else can break lines. His so-called forcing of play was often desperation disguised as ambition. In the 2023 Premier League season, he created more chances than any player in the league, the highest number by a Manchester United player since 2003-04. These are not empty statistics. They are historical markers of influence. Still, the divide remained. Half the fanbase defended him as the heartbeat of the team. The other half saw him as emblematic of United's chaos. When Saudi Arabian interest emerged, the debate exploded. Reports of massive offers circulated. Some argued United should cash in, that £120 million should be accepted immediately. Others pointed out that selling the one player who made the team function would be institutional self-harm. Bruno Fernandes made his stance clear. He did not want to leave European football. He believed he still had something to offer at the highest level. That decision alone told you everything about his mentality. He was not chasing comfort. He was chasing relevance. Off the pitch, his leadership manifested differently. Less visible, less theatrical. He attended academy matches, women's team fixtures. Before the 2024 FA Cup final, he reportedly offered to pay for travel and accommodation for club staff. These gestures rarely make highlight reels, but they build credibility inside a club. Under Michael Carrick, with a more stable structure and a clearer tactical framework, Bruno Fernandes began to look freer again, closer to his natural role. With better support around him, his risk-taking felt less forced. His creativity felt purposeful rather than frantic. He still frustrated fans. That will never change. But he also continued to deliver decisive moments. Goals that shifted momentum, assists that won matches, penalties taken under unbearable pressure, converted with a confidence that borders on audacity. Few midfielders in Premier League history combine volume, output, and work rate at his level. Even fewer do it while playing for a team in transition. When comparisons to Kevin De Bruyne emerged, they were not claims of equality in style, but recognition of influence. Bruno Fernandes operated at that tier of responsibility. What complicates his legacy is timing. He arrived during arguably the worst sustained period in Manchester United's modern history. No dominant system, no stable hierarchy, constant rebuilds. In another era, with a settled elite squad, his numbers might have been even more absurd. And yet, even in chaos, he lifted silverware. A Carabao Cup, an FA Cup, as captain. Trophies that mattered because of when they came, not just what they were. At the end of the day, Bruno Fernandes stands as a symbol of modern Manchester United. Brilliant, flawed, emotional, relentlessly driven. He is not universally loved, and perhaps he never will be. But football history rarely belongs to the comfortable characters. It belongs to the ones who demand responsibility when others hide. He is the player who kept asking for the ball when the stadium was restless. The player who tried something when safety felt easier. The player who carried a broken team and still delivered numbers that demand respect. When the noise fades and the numbers remain, will Bruno Fernandes be remembered as a problem? Or as the REA?